This is a what, 1/100th of a percent tax or a 10th of a percent tax on financial transaction? A 10th of a percent. Is that going to mean it? I know it will meaningfully raise revenues, Jimmy. Will it meaningfully change behavior at all?
Right. Well, it would raise revenues. It's $1 trillion. That's hardly a small amount. And remember, that trillion comes on top of somewhere between 3 and 5 trillion of other tax increases Mike Bloomberg called for. Now, listen, I think studies suggest that it would have an effect. It could raise the cost of capital, make it somewhat harder to raise money. Anytime, listen, you like your financial markets to be frictionless. You like them to operate smoothly. And this puts sand in the gears of the financial markets. Maybe not a lot of sand, but it does put some sand in there.
I'm going to guess, Jared, that you disagree.
I do. I mean, I disagree up to a point. It's no question that this tax, like any other tax, has some behavioral responses. And one thing that you almost certainly will see is a lot less high-frequency or noise trading. And in fact, some of the groups that fear this kind of a tax the most, even just a little bitty old 10 basis point tax, are the high-frequency shops. However, what you really, I really haven't seen evidence of a higher cost of capital or any significant thinning of market liquidity. And the thing you have to recognize is that transaction costs have fallen so much on their own over the last 20 or 30 years that this little tax only replaces some of those diminished costs. So I'm not worried at all about a behavioral impact.
Not all short-term trading is bad, right, Jared? I mean, it's not all high-frequency flash crash kinds of things. Short-term trading helps create a liquid market and gets the prices efficient. That's what we want. We want efficient pricing. And this would make pricing a little bit less efficient. Well,
I think the thing to recognize there is that do you really think 10 basis points is going to fundamentally restructure short-term trading? I think we're talking about $10 on a $10,000 trade, if I have the arithmetic right. So no. I mean, I think there's an elasticity there, but it's very small. And again, Jimmy, one thing. You cannot find any tax anywhere that doesn't have some kind of an impact. And I think this one is tiny.
I think we need to understand the trade-offs, and we don't fully understand the trade-offs. And to me, this isn't even the biggest thing in the plan, which may be his capital requirements provision, which could triple capital requirements. That's massive.
The financial companies would have to hold banks, against losses. All right, so I want to get out of the world of elasticity and efficiency of pricing and all of that very interesting stuff to guys who understand it, and cut to the chase here. And my question for both of you is, can we believe that Mr. Bloomberg believes this in his bones? Because he was against a lot of the regulations that were promulgated after the financial crash in the 2007-08. Can you believe him, or is this another moment of Bloomberg being expedient? Jimmy, first.
Well, listen. A lot of things he did say about the financial crisis and who was really to blame, that it was, government regulations and not the banks. A lot of those quotes were from like 2008, 2009, 2010. There's been a lot of research there which has really clarified that situation. I think he needs to explain how he made that journey from where he was to where he is now. But if he can explain it, I think voters care a lot more about what you're saying now than what you said a decade ago.
How about you, Jared?
I think that's pretty well said. I mean, he's definitely being accused of throwing Wall Street under the campaign bus. And I was there in the Obama administration trying to push Dodd-Frank when he was solidly on the other side, much to our great annoyance. So, look, I think what you're really seeing here is just the fact that the Democratic Party, including the centrists, have moved to the left. And by the way, it's not just Bloomberg, but it's also Buttigieg, along with Sanders and Warren, who have a financial transaction tax. And he's talking about, as Jimmy mentioned, the capital buffer, cracking down more on individuals who break laws, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. These are now pretty mainstream articles, and whether Bloomberg will actually try to follow through on them if he were to become president, we'll have to see how convincing he is on this turnaround.
On that issue, Jared, when he gets on that stage tomorrow night, I can imagine people will tear him to shreds. I mean, look at all the quotes he has out there that are just so ripe for the plucking. And so a couple of things. Will he be able to prevail over this field, number one? And is this a tool, a way of doing so? And if so, by moving to the left, will he be able to then move kind of back to the center if he wants to beat Trump?
I'm skeptical about how well he's going to do tomorrow night. We'll see. Who knows? I'm not an expert on those sorts of things. The guy has such a long paper trail. He is a billionaire on stage with Bernie and Senator Warren, who are just, out for blood on the issue. So it's going to be an awfully tough night for him, I suspect.